Hey there. So, for some people, trying to leave a toxic situation, trying to leave a narcissist is like being under the spell of some invisible force field where every time they try and leave, every time they think about leaving, they feel frozen. They feel stuck. Is that you? Are you a person that feels completely frozen by the grips of the toxic situation that you're in and unable to leave it? And every time you try, you just feel held back and frozen. Hey and welcome. I'm Lise Colucci, and I am here to help you understand and heal from toxic relationships in your life and transform your life after narcissists have been in it. So, welcome to the live stream and hello to you guys. Hey Ellen. And let's just talk about that. So, the freeze response is an interesting one because it so I get fight, right? That makes sense, right? We're like being someone's coming at you and you come back and then you go into flee and you run. That makes sense, right? From the point of view of self-protection. I get fawn where you just make it better. You make it better, right? And flight, of course, take off, get away. But this freeze response, it keeps you there with a toxic person in a toxic situation, repeating and repeating and repeating the same thing over and over, right? And how is that protecting you? Well, it keeps you there, which isn't good for you, but it also protects you from what could be worse, right? Like that's what we think it's protecting us from. It's the most interesting to me of the trauma responses because it's holding us there. What it is doing is it's shutting us down and causing a sort of disassociative fog to come over us so that we are not escalating the toxic thing that's right in front of us. It's keeping us from engaging in the toxic situation with the toxic person and the narcissistic person so that we stay safe. Does that make sense? Because if we're not frozen and we engage, then it can escalate. Then it can get more dangerous to our minds. I believe that's what it's doing. But when you think about it from like the point of view of leaving, you're like, wait a minute, why is my defense mechanism keeping me here? What the heck is going on with that? So, hey, everybody. Sorry, I want that to stop dinging. I don't know how to make that stop. Okay. So let's just talk about it some more. So a lot of people have thoughts in their head when they feel frozen that are things like, well, I know I should leave, but I'm just waiting for, that last thing. I want to catch them cheating. I want to catch them lying. I need to catch this. I need to catch that, right? You're waiting for the final last thing to happen. A lot of people, it's absolute straight up fear. They're terrified of leaving. They feel, maybe you feel, you don't know how to function without this person, or you feel like it's just fear without any other words that go to it. You just feel scared. Okay, another thing people feel is thoughts of loneliness. So maybe you're one of those people, right? Like where you feel like, oh my gosh, I'll be so lonely. I can't stand to be alone a minute, because your whole life has revolved around taking care of toxic people. It makes sense that you wouldn't know who you are outside of that. You would be literally like this little thing just floating around in space, or this little tiny person lost in the giant ocean all by yourself, because you've never spent the time to get to know you, because you haven't had the opportunity to do so, because your whole life has been about taking care of toxic people. So another thing that people might fear, or feel rather, is you might feel isolation. You might feel the grips of that isolation that the narcissistic relationship has put you in. And because of that, you don't know where to turn. And so the freeze comes over because you feel like, what else am I going to do? I have nowhere to go. I have no one. And that may be a truth for you, right? Like it may not, these aren't made up things. They could be real, legitimate, tangible things that are happening in your life, but they become this invisible barrier that we're going to talk about, right? And another thing is you feel conflicted. Perhaps you feel that cognitive dissonance every second. Perhaps you're with a covert narcissist. And 70% of the time, that covert narcissist is just a regular person, or seems to be. 70% of the time, everything's okay. But the 30% of the time that it's not, and the regularity with which it's not, and the repeat offenses of completely toxic behavior where they lack empathy and they give you not only give you nothing, but give you complete negativity, then those moments, I'm moving this real quick, those moments might be, um, yeah, that's enough, even 30% of the time, because it's so bad, right? Or more, right? Because it's more, usually it's 70% they're toxic and 30% they're good. But I mean, I'm making up those numbers, but you know what I mean? So yeah, if this is going on, the conflict of the cognitive dissonance that comes from the intermittent reinforcement, meaning the love bombing and the devaluing that happens super irregularly and super intermittently, now and then, on occasion, Thursday night at 4, but then again, not next Thursday night at 4, right? So there's no regularity to it, no rhyme or reason. You don't know who's coming home that night, that day, or you don't know who you're going to encounter. Then it creates the confusion in the mind. The mind says, wait a minute, I love that person. Wait a minute, that person's cruel. And your mind gets really confused and full of cognitive dissonance. Go back and watch some videos on that. I have quite a few about cognitive dissonance. Okay. So that is some of the ways that people can feel when they are trying to leave, wanting to get out of these situations, and being their own invisible barrier that feels like an invisible force field when you go to leave. If you know what I mean. If you've experienced this, let me know if that's a good description, because that's my experience of it, where it's like, and you just like, you can almost hear that sound of a force field and you can't get yourself past it. Okay, I'm going to read what some of you guys are saying here, and then we're going to keep going. Cognitive dissonance is the best. Yeah, is the narcissist's best friend. Oh my gosh, so much so. So much so. Okay. So I wrote down about 7 things that may be really important if you are stuck, trying to leave, wanting to leave, wishing you could leave, and are well aware of the fact that you're frozen. Okay. Or if you're just discovering that and you're like, yeah, that's me. That's me. I can't. I don't know why I can't, right? I know I should. So fear is a powerful, powerful emotion that will hold you in place. Its whole function is to stop you from doing a thing so you don't get hurt, right? You're up in a plane and you're told to jump and you're afraid. It's the fear is going to make you grip the sides, right? For most people, for many people, not everyone, some people fear invigorates them, I suppose. But for many of us, the fear keeps us. Did I see Mima Dragon? Mima Dragon? How long has it been? Hey. Okay. Or maybe I just haven't seen. Yeah, hi. Okay. So, fear, I'm reading here what I wrote, that fear, it's an invisible barrier, right? And it blocks you from the potential of any change. Fear is an invisible force field holding you back from making any change. You cannot make change without doing something differently. It's kind of impossible. You do things the same. Things will naturally change as they decay, as they age, in a natural, very slow progression. But if we want faster change, we have to make the change, right? We have to be open to the experience of the discomfort that the change might bring. And fear is what locks you from allowing you to get past that, right? Like it locks you in place. So that fear locking you in place. Okay. So if you're dealing with that, one question you can ask yourself is, what's the worst thing that's going to be from leaving? Now, I'm not talking about physical harm. I'm not talking about if the worst thing is they're going to come after you, stalk you, and make your life a living terror. Okay. I'm talking about situations where you could leave. They're not going to chase you down. They may hoover you. It may be difficult, but I'm not talking about physical harm here. If you are in that situation, I am swinging a pen today. If you are in that situation, please get domestic violence help. Please get local help. Please seek protective orders, and please find a safe way to get yourself out of the situation. Okay. This that I'm talking about here is on the level of when it's ourselves holding us in, holding us back because of the fear. Okay. So, in that being said ahead of time, what is it what is the worst thing that's going to happen? Okay. Once you understand where your beliefs lie on that, because everyone's going to have their own opinion on what the worst thing that's going to happen for them is, once you have figured that piece out for yourself, then you can start talking to someone or working your way through each of those pieces so that you're working on you and you are trying to wait. I got something weird. Okay. Okay. So, right. So that you can work on you then and you can get yourself through your own pieces of the fear. Okay. I had to discover for myself that my biggest fear was change. But you know what I realized when I started working with the fear of change? I wasn't actually afraid of change. Change happens all the time. I actually enjoy change. I think it's kind of fun to change certain things, right? Move house, super fun, right? Move to a new city, might be great. So it's not that. It was, I don't want to accommodate change. I don't want to, I had to accept that I didn't want to go through the discomfort of what change means. So what I thought was fear was actually kind of me being willful and not wanting to make the change. Does that make sense? And so it helped me to see that because then I thought, okay, so I just have what I'm afraid of is the discomfort of the change, not the change itself. Oh, that's different. I can endure that, right? Okay, so yeah. Oh, hey, Chris. So another thing is you are stuck perhaps due to the pattern of the love bombing and the devalue, the narcissistic cycle of how they are in relationships. And if you are stuck due to that pattern, again, we talked about cognitive dissonance before, that's where you're at. You are full of cognitive dissonance. You love them and know they are horrible for you at the same time. All right, you're trauma bonded. So, another topic for another time to go into the deep details of how to work through that piece. I have an entire playlist on trauma bonds. Please go watch any of those if you feel like that's your reason, okay? Because it would take an hour to go through one of those. That is what's keeping you there. It's what keeps us all there, okay? But if that's your main thing, that might be worth listening to, understanding if you don't know what it is or how it's affecting you. Go watch some of those and then after this or another time and see if that helps to get some awareness on it. But okay, so let's keep going. You perhaps believe the lies of the manipulation. So perhaps the lies that the narcissist has told you when they are gaslighting you, when they are projecting, when they're being really toxic to you, have gotten in your head, right? So you hear the voice of the narcissistic person. If you grew up with it, you probably have this going on too. Okay. And what that creates is low self-esteem and self-doubt. How could you possibly know what's right for your life? And if you have low self-esteem, why would you try? Because your worth is coming from taking care of this toxic person. And man, will they let you take care of them for the rest of your life? And I don't mean in a good way. I mean in a way of like you being responsible for everything that's wrong, you being the problem, you having to fix yourself all the time, jump through hoops in order to keep this relationship alive. And they will let you do that forever because my goodness, the supply that they soak up from you having all these problems and doing all these things to maintain this relationship. So, what they're putting into the relationship is nothing. The narcissist doesn't put into a relationship. The narcissistic person will simply start skimming the fat off the top, which is the supply, right? They don't want to participate in relationship. They don't want to allow you to make mistakes. They don't want to allow you to be a real person. They don't want to allow any of that. And all of that, you're so busy maintaining when you're in a toxic relationship You're so busy maintaining all of that that you forget who you are and you lose your self-esteem. And what you do when you come out the other side and you're right on the edge, ready to leave, you think, well, wait a minute. Every decision I've made has been the wrong one. I don't know how to make decisions. How can I make this major decision for my life? Okay. So, I mean, when you have that going on, it's super important to get some support. Find someone to talk to. Okay. Really, really important. Um, and with the next one. So we'll talk about support in a second. Your nervous system. Okay. Here's another reason that you may feel stuck. When you are in constant adrenaline, cortisol highs, your nervous system goes into an amygdala reaction, which means you're always in fight, flight, freeze, fawn, right? You're always there. You're always in a trauma response, pretty much most of the time. So when your nervous system has that happen, it's overactivated. Your overactivated nervous system is controlling your life. Okay. So that freeze is a nervous system reaction. It creates a brain fog that makes you forget what's happening, that makes you not know how to even call a moving company, right? Like, or what to do to help yourself. It makes you shut down. It makes you like have the feelings of detachment from your own life. And the thing is, because this has happened so often and so long, you are likely in this self-preservation mode of emotional shutdown. And when you get in the emotional shutdown, you cannot just shut down the bad. Okay. Your drive, your impulse for self-protection, your desire to have joy in your life, gone. It's gone because you are stuck in this reaction. And now, in my opinion, and from working with myself on myself, right, and working with people through coaching, my opinion is one of the best ways to begin or to include with healing. I didn't word that right. One of the better ways and tools to use in working with this piece is your body, your physical body, using techniques for somatic types of experiencing and healings, and methods for working directly with how this is affecting your body, where it's affecting your body, and then mindfulness combined. I have to stop playing with that pen on a metal table. That's, yeah. And then mindfulness combined so that you are able to really get behind this amygdala reaction, get outside of the reaction that's happening, and begin healing from different places in your brain. Okay. Hard to explain here. It's better one-to-one. This is something, and I'm going to take a second here and just say this is an area if you need coaching. This is a good thing for one-to-one coaching. Group coaching, yes, it's great. We talk about this daily in group coaching as well. Seriously, I think at least once a day, there is somebody needing this sort of support. Okay. But it is something that can be taught to you, and there's a lot of different tools, and everybody's going to respond differently. And that's why it helps to have the one-to-one conversations, because personally, I can't tell from a little chat here who you are, right? Or like how you respond and listen to you. So that is an area. Find anyone that you trust or that you think can help you with that. And there's a lot of resources out there, okay, for this body awareness type of healing. When we're talking about our nervous system and our amygdalas, we have to remember that what happens when we go into an amygdala response like that, a trauma response, the rest of the brain, it kind of shuts down. It's going, you take over, you're the boss, you're going to get us to safety. Once we're to safety, then we'll come back online. But for right now, you take over. And so when our amygdala is doing is in the more activated state, it's hard for logic to reason with it. Have you ever been in a panic? Like okay, sorry. So last time you were in a panic, okay, because we all do, most of us have anxiety, right? Have you ever been in a panic and had someone try and logically talk you down? And have you either wanted to punch them and run? Really? Or, like, have you ever wanted to has it made you start crying and made it worse? There's a way to talk people down that does work, kind of using logic, sort of, but did it really work? Right? If the situation doesn't change, if you're not brought away from the situation and the physical, nothing changes, if someone just sat in front of you and said, well, logically, nothing's the matter. You know that and like your brain goes, what are you talking about? And the amygdala just keeps being in charge, right? It's very rare that it actually works, especially when you have the CPTSD going on and the repeated offenses of the narcissistic manipulation. All right. The amygdala is a control freak. I know. It is a very we have to love our amygdala, okay? We have to. It is a very useful and important part of being human, of being an animal, okay? It is survival. And we are survivors. And what we have to learn is that we don't need to stay in survivor mode 100% of the time. Okay? We need it when it comes, and we need it to become a little bit more of a tame beast, right? And not so wildly reactive. It's, love it. And also, okay, thank you. Step aside now. I'm going to use the rest of my brain for a second here, and I'm going to get away from this toxic person. Okay. Yes. Thank you, amygdala, for getting me to a safe place. Exactly. Exactly. However, and I'll put this here, if that amygdala is keeping you stuck in the bad place with a toxic person, thank you, amygdala, for keeping me safe this long. And now I'm going to try something different and not listen to you for a second while I get out of here. Okay. All right. All right. So talked about those two things together. Okay. The last thing I'm going to say here is if you're with a covert narcissist and that narcissist plays nice a lot, they're hoovering you back, right? So you're when they see you on the verge of leaving, they will either shut down and make you feel, let me word that differently. You will then have a reaction that could cause you to feel guilty, could cause you to feel like, wait, I need closure here, or I need a different response from them. Why aren't they responding? So that cause you to re-engage, right? Or if they're covert and the nice guy gal type, they start playing nice. Start playing like nothing happened. They start, and you get swept into that hoover, right? You get swept right into that being pulled back in, feeling into the relationship, and you're used to this in the cycle. Remember that it's love bomb, groom, devalue, hoover. Okay. And then love bomb again. All right. There's a little space in between there where they pull you back in, where the spell, right? The trance or whatever that they get you under happens. And for a lot of people, especially with coverts. All right. So that is what I wanted to say today about if you're stuck. A little bit of tips on what to do, more about what happens and that it's happening and that it happens to a lot of people. Okay. So I'm going to read what you guys are saying. Hey to Shoshana and Ellen, thank you. And Chris, thank you. And Darlene and Stanley. Who else is here? Barbara. And who else is here? I said Darlene. Mima. Too long, dear Lise. Hi. No, where you been, my friend? Okay. I'm going to go back to the very beginning and see what we're saying. We're talking about ironic. Darlene says this video called Feeling Frozen because chat froze for me. Okay. Oh no, that's not good. Uh-oh. Now my thing is frozen. It's listening. What made me freeze was I am the toxic one. I am crazy. 3 years later, working on trusting myself, I was never wrong. Yep. Because you were made to believe that. Because narcissists will very often turn the table and make you seem like the one that had something wrong. I was just talking to someone recently about that, about how for many, many years, the narcissist was able to create a game, because I call it all a game, okay? So they were able to create a game where this person was made to feel like everything they did was wrong. Well, we all know what that feels like, right? But knowing that this person's mm, mode of operation, way of being, is to fix things. So if the narcissist created a vision, a world where that person's always wrong, knowing that that person's always going to fix things, they have constant source of supply that they never have to do lift a finger to be nice to. They never it takes effort in relationships to keep the joyful, loving exchanges going, right? It takes effort in healthy relationships to have focus that's healthy and kind and open-hearted through life's struggles with anyone. Okay. Why would a narcissist do that? No, they want the supply. So if they can keep a narrative going, plus remember, if a narcissist has had anything in their past that they haven't healed from, right? Which we know, I'm laughing because they won't take accountability. So how can they? I mean, even us, we have to take accountability for the things that we struggle with, not for the manipulation that they did, right? In order to heal. It's part of life. Okay. But because they won't, they're throwing all their pain at you and expecting you to play it out like a living theater right in front of them so they can watch you experience the pain that they had. Is that making sense? The narcissist, if they have had pain in their past, is creating a living theater in front of their own eyes, using people as pawns to play out their pain in front of their eyes so they can puppetry, mimic, create that pain. And by that means, they feel control over the pain that they've had in their life. It's not real control. It doesn't solve anything. All it does is hurt others. And I think that's why they get a little bit of joy from it, because it feels like power. Okay? So if someone's been doing that, heck yeah, you're going to feel crazy and you're going to feel toxic because they're projecting everything onto you. Okay, that was long-winded, but there we go. Darlene says, I can identify with not knowing who you are. Once I had to answer that on a form, and I wrote things like blank's mom, blank's daughter, worker at blank. Yep. I am for others. That's just when a name tag where it says, hello, my name is, it's hello, my name is here for others. Right? This is one place of healing, one part of healing that people don't want to do. They don't want to go there. I hear a lot of people stop at the point of, okay, I'm over it. I'm out away from the narcissist, and boom, they're back into more in their life. And this is a piece of discovering who you are and being comfortable and confident with who you are and accepting and allowing of who you are, your unique self. I think a lot of survivors get scared there. They get frozen in their own way toward their own healing. And then they either jump back into narcissistic relationships, or they shut down and don't have any relationships. And that's a choice. It's totally okay. No matter what people want to do, this is fine, right? But if they want to know who they are and they want to have a different kind of life where they experience their own experiences and they have a sense of self, that's a place right there that you're talking about that a lot of healing can happen. Okay. I was confused when I was told that my answers weren't who I was, but how I related to others. Oh, yeah. Well, if you are wanting an answer to that question, like you said, that is my suggestion. Darlene, dear darling Darlene, is keep asking that question. Who am I when? Go out and do simple things. Okay, this is coaching to a stranger from one sentence. Okay. And I don't know you, so the things I suggest may not be your thing. So find something that is. These are examples, okay? Simple thing. I'll call it the simple thing exercise. Go out and do one simple thing. Okay? Take a walk. Let's just say that. Okay? Go out and take a walk or thing of your choice. And on that walk, stop partway through and say, huh, what is it to be me right now? And then keep walking. Do not answer that question. Ask yourself to be open to the experience of being you. It sounds esoteric and weird. It sounds like it's not going to do anything, but I wonder what you'll feel. I wonder what you'll notice. I wonder what thoughts will come into your head. And if you have negative thoughts come into your head, if you have dark things that are like sound like a toxic voice, just say, not now. We're doing something else now. Not now. Thank you. We're doing something else. I know that song. We're not playing that song. We're asking what's the Darlene song or the whoever you are song, right? What makes me tick? Who am I? And just keep asking. Keep open. People, nobody knows who they are. People who are comfortable with themselves are comfortable in the not knowing. They're comfortable in feeling the question. Be open, in my opinion, right? Being open to that. All right. Love versus fear. What did you lose? Yes. Okay. Let me see. Where are we going? Darlene. Hey, Chris. You have to move your body, dance it out. Okay, so back to the body stuff. Yeah, when you have trauma in your body, you're right. Dance it out, breathe it out, right? Exercise, yoga, dogs, animals do it naturally. Animals do this naturally. Their bodies naturally shake out the trauma. They do. Yes. It gets locked into our cells, you guys. It's a natural feedback loop, okay? Have a hot stove. You touch the hot stove. Ouch, you recoil. Your brain gets a signal. Ouch. Okay. You feel the sensation. So if I told you a stove was hot, but it wasn't, you would have a natural recoil because your brain has learned, right? So that's what happens. But the thing is, these memories, these experiences, these traumatic things, we don't know where they go in our bodies. They float around and land somewhere weird, right? Or they float around, have a thing happen, and then boom, it's in your stomach. Or boom, it's in your shoulders or your back or your neck or your head or your jaw or wherever the tension locks, wherever it lands on you, wherever it lands with you, okay? And then once that happens, it sends a signal to the brain. Ouch. And then the brain goes, ooh, that's bad. And then the body goes, yeah, it is. And then that loop starts, right? So then you have a trigger, right? Nothing's happening. You have a trigger, boom, your body goes, oh, ouch. But wait, nothing's happening. If you watched it in a movie, you'd be like, that's just a trigger. Move on, keep going, breathe, walk away, right? But when you experience it, boom, you're frozen, you're in the trigger. And your body, that feedback loop starts. The thing is, it's a neural pathway at this point. It is so fast, you can't stop it. And that is why when I'm talking about working with people's physical bodies as a means for healing and the tools that I use personally with people, that is why understanding this is important so that you can create different neural pathways to get yourself through it, to change the way you respond to things. You may still feel the trigger, but you will have a way through it. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. Okay, you guys. Hey, Barbara, depression is worry about the past. Anxiety is worry about the future. Resilience is in the now. So true. And change is in the now. Mhm. And joy is in the now, and love is in the now, and all of the good stuff is right here in the now, right? Not always. Sometimes the now is horrible when horrible things are happening in the now. Okay. And that is viable. That isn't a trigger. That is trauma happening in the moment. And, different topic. We'll come back to that another time. All right. Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about today? Otherwise, I'm going to end here and come back another day. Okie doke. I'm reading the chat real quick. I don't see anything. If I missed something, I do apologize. Okay. Oh, hey, Flying Cosmo. I didn't say hi to you. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So be back next time. I don't know what we'll talk about. Something. And yeah, if you need coaching, group coaching, peer support, to send me an email, whatever. Information is in every description of every video. So yeah. Okay. Hit the thumbs up, hit the like, share the videos, get the channel moving. Let's get people watching and get the information out there so people can have the support. All right. Thank you to Chris and Ellen for helping me out today. Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, guys. Bye. See ya. Take care.